Hi there, Christian Bullis, the owner and director of Senior Home Care by Angels in London, Ontario. And again, I'm here with a brochure. I did a recent video that just talked about 5 new brochures. Well, they're not new. We've had them here at the agency for many years. We've been distributing these brochures throughout the community. They're informational brochures about issues affecting seniors. And we've just updated them, given them a new fresh look, and I'd like to sit and talk about some of these. And I'll go over some of the information. I'm not going to read the whole brochure to you here, but I'll go over some of the highlights and how I've used them over the years and how I feel they've benefited many of our clients as well. Now, these brochures are available on our website, and that link is in the description box below, and that's seniorhomecarelondon.com. If you go to that site, you can download any one of these brochures for your use. So the first one I want to talk about here is talking to your loved one. And this is about discussing home care with your loved one. Over the years, one of the things I've found in many cases when we have children calling us about care for their parents is that in a lot of situations, the parents certainly require the care, but they are very reluctant, and understandably so. It can be a big decision the first time you have home care come into the home. So that can be a difficult conversation to have with your parents. But there's specific ways you can do it to make it easier for everybody involved, and to maybe make them more open to having care potentially if there is any resistance. So let's go in. Let's take a look at the brochure and see what some of the stuff that we have is. And one of the headlines here is persuading your elder parents to choose home care. It's not so much persuading, it's really going over the options with them on what's important, on what they want to do, and it's really the choices that they want to make. And it's very important that you ensure in that conversation that you're keeping your parents in control of what's going on, because ultimately it is their decision if they're cognitively able to make those decisions about their care. And so there's certain things here. There's all kinds of issues that are very important. Getting the whole family together. So we talk about having a family plan and how important that can be. And one of the first steps to that is setting up a family meeting. One of the things that we find that happens quite often is we get a lot of calls right after big family holidays. Such as Christmas is a big one. We're very busy. We find in the month of January we get calls right after Christmas, because what happens is you will have the whole family is together. So you have all the siblings together. Usually they may visit at mom and dad's house over the holidays, and they may not have been there for several months, and suddenly they see that it appears maybe mom and dad are struggling with a few things and they need some assistance. And this is a great opportunity because the whole family is there, and they can sort of have an impromptu family meeting and discuss, hey, what should we do? What options are available for mom and dad? And we tend to get a lot of calls after that. The same around Easter and Thanksgiving. Some of those major holidays, we get a lot of calls after family's been together. But you can have this family meeting anytime. So setting up the family meeting is a great first start. It may seem obvious, but remember that you really have to. These are decisions that have to include the senior and your loved one. They have to be involved in this family meeting. And you can have maybe a brief little meeting ahead of times with your siblings and discussing some options and discussing maybe some of your concerns. But certainly when you go and you set up a family meeting with your loved ones, discuss some of the things that are concerning. So they always have to be the central part of the discussion. And if not, it's going to be very difficult for you to come to a solution that's going to be acceptable to them. They really need, the family meetings should be very supportive, and again, the support may not be enough to convince them that they need care before their health deteriorates. In a lot of cases, it's nice to try to be proactive, but sometimes, unfortunately, what we see quite often is that it takes sometimes a health crisis before your parents may accept that they do need some help in that case. But if we can have these meetings and discussions, you can really try to convey and communicate the message that if we get assistance beforehand, in a lot of times we can prevent a health crisis from happening if we have the proper supports in place. So, even when, we've gone through all this thoughtful process, there still can be resistance from families, and that's understandable. It's a huge change, so it's something that they have to, come to terms with. So that's something that, if they do show signs of resistance, then it's a good, back off. You certainly don't want to push this with your parents. Give them a little breathing room, and ideally, again, if this is a case where that breathing room exists and it's not a crisis situation. So that's quite important to do that. There's a lot of how you can even approach the conversation with your loved one. Is to really make sure, again, that they're the focus of the meeting. And when you're talking to them, it's very important to use I language. In a lot of cases, we see people may approach the subject by saying, you need assistance, you need help, you're unable to do these things in your home, and that type of language is going to get a lot of resistance in a lot of cases, and a lot of resentment potentially. So it's important more to approach it from the using I language, whereas, I'm concerned about you. I'm concerned about your nutrition levels. I'm concerned that you're not eating proper meals. I'm concerned maybe about the cleanliness of the house and that it's becoming a little more difficult to manage at this point. Putting it in that language can help a lot. And sometimes it gives the senior then the option to say, well, let's try, I'm fine, I feel fine, but, my daughter Susan is concerned, so let's try something here, and if, that's going to I'll do it for Susan to make her feel better. And then the senior may get some supports and find they really enjoy them. They like the person who's involved, and they enjoy having those services done for them. As I always like to say to many clients when we come in to do so light house cleaning, that, hey, you've earned a break. It's time to relax and let someone else push that heavy vacuum across the floor. And again, it's important to say to not take away all tasks. There's certain tasks that people enjoy doing, and if they're capable of doing them, they should be able to maintain them. So that's one of the great things about home care, is it's not an all or nothing type solution, that it can be personally tailored to the client on what they need, so that the tasks they do need help with can be provided, and the ones they don't, they can continue to do, which I think is very important for people to do the things that they enjoy and that they can do to give them purpose and meaning in their life. So that's part of some of the conversation in many cases. So, you can talk about, potentially having someone come in to do a consultation from a home care agency. Senior Home Care by Angels provides free initial consultations. Most other home care agencies do as well. So, that's talking to someone isn't going to hurt by any means. And again, go in with realistic expectations in the first meeting with your loved one, and don't expect to accomplish everything in one meeting. Certainly open up the dialogue and get them thinking about it. So, doing that is a great way. So this has great strategies in it. Really things to help you on how to motivate you. It talks about having a plan. We talked about that earlier. Involve other people, potentially their family physician, clergy, if you're dealing with a geriatric care manager. There's all kinds of resources to use in the community, such as Meals on Wheels. Here in Ontario, the Community Care Access Centre is a great source for information. And focus on your loved one's issues, their concerns. What are they concerned about when you discuss home care with them? If they do have any resistance, what issues is it that they're resistant to? It could be having a stranger in the house. One of the things that we do at Senior Home Care by Angels for that particular reason and issue is we introduce all our caregivers to our clients before any service begins. So they get to meet the person, they get to approve of them coming into their home. that also helps put the senior back in control of the situation, which is very important. Many times we find what is happening, and the reason seniors have resistance to home care is because they feel they are out of control in what's going on in their life. So by allowing them to meet the caregiver beforehand, we sort of conduct a mini job interview, and that gives them sort of the peace of mind of meeting the person. Again, we usually have adult children involved, so that gives them the peace of mind in that meeting to see who's going to be caring for mom and dad. And everybody gets to ask some questions, and we get a comfort level set, and then from there service begins. So that process helps. And again, if that's an issue, you can talk to your loved ones, mom or dad or whoever that may be, and say, with this agency, they're going to come in and talk to us, and they're going to bring the caregiver ahead of time so we can meet them, and we can go from there. So again, there's a lot more information in here. It talks about involving everybody in the family, strength in numbers, getting family involved, and as well, in some cases, trying to get the family unified in their approach. We also run into situations where different siblings can have different ideas on the type of care mom and dad need, whether it be home care, whether it be a retirement residence, or whether it be, I don't feel they need anything. So trying to get that in line, it can be helpful as well. That's not always possible, however, so it's good to present whatever options that we can. So again, we sort of ended on stay positive. So, it's important in these situations to make sure that you treat your parents with the respect, of course, that they deserve, and don't try to parent your parents. That can be difficult at times, but it's important to do. You're going to get much further by treating them, of course, as the equals they are with you, and talk about your concerns, that you're concerned for their safety, and you're concerned about whatever issues they are. And again, it's also part of discussing what they want long term, and hopefully we've had these discussions long before this point, but in a lot of cases we haven't, so there are things we have to deal with as they come up. So again, I've used this in countless situations in my agency when we've had adult children usually call us and contact us for care for their parents, and they'll say, I know my mom and dad needs this, certainly that's what they feel. But they're very resistant. So this is a brochure that back before the proliferation of email, I used to mail these out. Now I certainly email a copy of this brochure, and it gives great strategies to family members on how to approach the conversation of home care with their mom and dad. So if you're going through that particular issue now, I urge you to go to our website, seniorhomecarelondon.com, and you can download a copy of this. Again, if you prefer to have a professionally printed version that I have, I'd be happy to mail one to you as well, or drop one off. That's certainly an option. And then go from there. So any questions that you may have, you're always free to call the Senior Home Care by Angels office at 519-649-CARE. That's 519-649-CARE. And again, I have links to our website and information in the description box. So I hope you found this video interesting. If you're really interested in senior issues and other videos that we have coming up, please click the like and subscribe button on the YouTube video. That helps us out so we can reach more people with this information. So thank you very much, and have a great day.